This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Tonight we're joined by Adam Smith. It's Usyk Joshua press day. Adam, first and foremost, how are you?
Very good, Ryan. Delighted to be back here at the Four Seasons, which used to be Nassim Hamed's haunt in the 90s. He used to stay here before he fought in London, and many an hour waiting for Naz for some sort of dynamic interview. So nice to be back here in central London. Great to see some old friends, Team Joshua, Team Usyk, two teams we're very, very fond of on Sky. And obviously we're very interested in what's a huge fight on August the 20th. Both fighters have been part of our history and our tapestry over the years, obviously especially Anthony. And cannot wait to see how it all unfolds in Saudi on the 20th. I can't wait to tune in and see what happens. See whether there can be some revenge or whether Alexander Usyk is going to go from strength to strength and build on what he built at Spurs, which was pretty impressive, wasn't it?
That it was. The face-off, I wanted to start there. A bit longer than we're traditionally used to seeing with Anthony Joshua. Two very cool characters up there, but do you think neither of them really take anything from that? Is that all just part of the fun?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're two very intelligent, very respectful fighters and very experienced. It's going to come down to who gets their tactics right again. Obviously, he's moved Anthony from Robert McCracken to try something different with Angel and Robert Garcia. It's obvious what he's got to try and do with the physicality, with the backing Usyk up, utilising his advantages and trying to cut the corner and the ring down. Whether he can do it is another matter. Alexander got into a rhythm so quickly at Spurs that he's got to stop that happening again. And for Alexander, obviously, he's going to have that confidence of the first major fight he had at heavyweight. Obviously, he'd fought Derek, and I think maybe, Anthony was reading a lot into that fight, but he didn't get it right, Joshua, on the night at Tottenham. So he's got to do it all differently. He'll start an underdog. Alexander could do more of the same. He could be even more ruthless. But also you've got to think about how his mindset is with what's the terrible, atrocities, the terrible situation in his beloved homeland. We know that Vasily Lomachenko stayed on the front line. Vitaly and Vladimir, our friends, are there as well. We send them so much love and support, and we know that Ukraine want Alexander to fight. So is that going to inspire him? I'm sure it will. Will it have affected him? But ultimately, they're two seasoned professionals. It will come down to who gets it right on the night in the ring. And I think, again, Anthony's lack of southpaw experience is a worry for me. It's a concern. But they'll be doing everything they can in camp to try and get it absolutely right. And if he can become a three-time heavyweight champion, then he'll have proved a lot of people wrong. And he's already a superstar, isn't he? But that would just be the icing on the cake, and surely Tyson Fury will come out of his so-called retirement to fight him then. But it wouldn't surprise me if Alexander did it again.
Just a word on what you touched on with Usyk there. Everyone's kind of wondering how what's going on in Ukraine will affect him, but Alex Krassyuk said that before he made his decision, Usyk had spoken to soldiers, he'd been in hospitals, and the Ukrainian people were telling him to fight. Do you think that will uplift him?
I think so, yeah. I think he wouldn't have done it otherwise. I think he'd still be on the front line with the Klitschko brothers. I think he's been told, he's been pushed by the government, by his friends at high places, from the fans on the streets, I'm sure, to show even more good light of the country of Ukraine and get back to doing what you do best. And I think he's a role model. He's an inspiration. He's one of the pound-for-pound kings. I mean, what he did at cruiserweight was incredible. And now to become a heavyweight champion when few gave him that chance against AJ first time around, he's been absolutely incredible, hasn't he? Wonderful. So he's a hero to the nation, and I'm sure he'll be massively inspired by it. But of course, we don't know, and we don't know, how much it's hurt him, his family, his friends in the Ukraine, and how difficult that will be, sort of almost blocking it out for the course of the training camp and the fight, which he needs to do. It's the toughest sport in the world, so he needs to be very selfish, and he needs to concentrate on himself, and I'm sure that's what he'll do now.
Just to pick that back up after a battery change, Adam, when AJ signed his DAZN deal, it all but looked like that was where the fight would land in the UK, but we're now hearing there's no broadcaster deal done. Sky obviously here today. Is this still on the table for Sky?
We're here today. We've got Sky Sports News here today because it's a big fight, and it's a fight that obviously we're interested in from Sky point of view, everybody's interested in this, and of course we'll be reporting on the fight. As far as the rights, I don't know. I presumed when Anthony went and took the deal with DAZN, which was obviously disappointing, but he goes with our fond memories and our support. Obviously, we're always going to be in his corner. I presume the fight will be on DAZN. I believe that the Skills Challenge Saudi group, who are running the event, decide about the rights, and I'm sure they'll talk to the teams and they'll do what's best for them. But it would surprise me if it didn't end up on DAZN because of the fact that AJ has gone in, obviously a huge money deal, and if that's the case, that's the case. I'm going to be tuning in wherever it's on. So, but no, I don't have any news. I don't know.
Just a word on Adam Azim from the weekend. Talked about as one of Britain's brightest prospects. Absolutely dazzled again. Just superb. We need to see the whiskers checked, as we were saying off camera, but looks to have a real star there.
Of course, it's very easy to get ahead of ourselves and get excited, but what he's doing and the manner of victories in these embryonic stages, the early part of his pro career, have been electric, and it's very difficult not to get excited, isn't it? But there'll be harder tests ahead. He'll go through the levels, and his minerals will be checked. But everything I'm hearing, everything I'm seeing is it's very enticing, and it's very, very promising, isn't it? I think he's a brilliant talent. I've absolutely loved watching him develop. He was a fantastic junior amateur. Shane is really hot on him. I'm a big admirer of Shane McGuigan. And other fighters that spar with him all talk in such high esteem about Adam. But he just does what he does in the ring. He's a gentleman outside it. He's very cold inside it. And then it entertains you with a double backflip and a homage to Ronaldo at the end of it. I mean, he's brilliant, isn't he? So I'd like to see him back as quickly as we can get him out, get some real momentum with Adam Azim. I think he's got the potential to be a real superstar of the sport. I spoke to Amir Khan afterwards, who he idolises. He looks up to him and to Nassim Hamad and to Floyd Mayweather and some of the greats. And Amir was in no doubt that he believes he'll become a world champion. I know he wants to become the youngest. He's only 19. He's going to turn 20 in a few weeks. Listen, maybe we don't rush him too much. He's still got to check off different opposition before we get there. But listen, we're very pleased with his progress, and we're going to get behind him as much as possible. I think Adam Azim is going to go places. I really do.
Sky Sports is heading to Bournemouth. Chris Billam-Smith and Isaac Chamberlain. Very good domestic fight. How did that come about? I hope so.
Good.
Good domestic fight. How did it come about?
It is a good domestic fight. Chris Billam-Smith, always been a huge admirer of, very respectful, gentleman, a lovely guy, and a huge following down in Bournemouth. Always wanted to go down to the seaside to see him. It was presented to me, actually, Chris Billam-Smith and Isaac Chamberlain as a fight. I was quite surprised. It's a main event, which is obviously a really good fight, but not sort of part of our boxer plans, I don't think, at the beginning. It was sort of landed with it. So it's a good one to get, and really pleased to be getting our Olympians on the card as well, and giving them some more peak time slots, as well as a great domestic dust up at cruiserweight, and a nice trip to the seaside. What a time of year to be down in Bournemouth. Can't wait.
Some big fights there for the winner. I know Chris Billam-Smith's always wanted that rematch with Richard Riakpo. If he wins, is that a natural fight to make?
Love to see that again. And Miguel Lawal and Vidal Riley, the cruiserweight division's buzzing. But of course, Richard Riakpo was brilliant the other week in that demolition, the 2-round body shot victory. And I know he wants a world title fight next, but definitely that's a big fight, the rematch between Richard and Chris at some point. So if Chris can get through Isaac, which is no easy task, because Isaac's on really good form and he's got a lot to prove. He didn't turn up against Okoli when we had that big fight on Sky a few years back. So he'll want to come back and try and really impress on the platform. And we're looking forward to seeing Isaac. But Chris in front of those home fans, it's going to be tough to knock over, isn't he?
Indeed, one other British cruiserweight is being talked about at the minute, Lawrence Okoli, kind of alluding to being open to changing things in the future when he was on the Boxing Voice the other day. Have you heard any more than us regarding this potential future?
I'm a massive admirer of Lawrence Okoli, who's with Matchroom. He's done a great job with Eddie, and I think he's with 258 at Matchroom, isn't he? That's what I know with Lawrence. He's a terrific world cruiserweight champion. Great story, from flipping burgers at McDonald's to taking on the world. I'm sure he'll go up to heavyweight as well. So obviously I'm a big admirer of Lawrence Okoli, and look forward to his next outing.
Right, Adam, thank you very much for speaking to Boxing Social as always. We'll catch you close at the fight.